Howdy folks. Today I'm doing a dish that I stole from Mark Perriquet, and this is the second time I've done it. He calls it cheesy pepperoni chicken, and it makes no pretense of even resembling pizza flavor. The stuff is incredible. Starting out with a boneless, skinless chicken boob, and since the ones I'm getting are over a half pound, they're pretty good sized, I'm slicing it horizontally in half. And then when I'm done with this, I'm going to flog the immortal crap out of it with a hammer. You'll eventually see why. Open up. Try not to cut your fingers off while you're doing this. It's also still partially frozen, which makes these things a whole lot easier to cut. Now, down here, lay it out on the work surface and mash it. Want to make these roughly 1/4 of an inch thick. And when they're still partially frozen, that's a challenge. Okie dokie. That's good enough. Now we do the other one, same way. Alrighty. Next step, we batter them, starting with flour and then an egg that's been, well, I'm doing this backwards, that has been beaten with a couple of tablespoons of milk, and followed with some Panko breadcrumbs, which have been pulverized a little finer in the Ninja, and mixed with some of Larry Wolfe's citrus poultry rub. This gets messy. Get it thoroughly coated. Then into the egg. Again, thoroughly coat it, let it drip. And then into the breadcrumbs. And when it's thoroughly coated, set it aside. We're going to let these rest for 5 minutes or so, and it actually helps the coating to stay on better. What do you want? You goofballs. What? Oh, you're a fat lot of help. What? Why? Honestly. Alright, bozos. Maybe that'll keep you busy for a few minutes. Hopeless. Meanwhile, repeat the same process on the other half of the chicken booty. Now, preheat your skillet. And some oil, maybe a 1/4 cup. I'm using canola because it was what my hand got to first. And when a few drops of water start to pop, lay the chicken in. Come to Papa. Straighten up now. And fry them until they're golden brown, probably on the order of 4 minutes to a side, over medium heat, medium high, whatever. Alright. Looking good. Out of there. And when they're nicely done, drain them on paper towels for a few minutes while we do a few other things. Now we lay the chicken out on a baking pan. Nah. Better yet, I think I'll just eat that one. Good stuff. Anyway, while I chew, we spoon some tomato sauce over them. I'm using a marinara. Mark used a regular tomato sauce. You could spice it up or not, depending on your mood. That looks like enough. That's about all there is. So we'll just finish the jar. Done. And now we top it with some mozzarella. That was good for now. And some grated Parmesan. This stuff is so good. Saving a little for later. Now we lay thin sliced pepperoni all over the top. And believe it or not, this does not in any way make it taste like a pizza. Looks good enough. Now we put on the rest of the mozzarella. And the rest of the Parmigiano. And we put it in a preheated 450-degree oven for about 10 or 12 minutes until the cheese is nicely melted. Meanwhile, in the pan the chicken was in, after dumping all the oil out, the chicken grease, but keeping the chicken goodies, a tablespoon or two of EVOO. We start by sauteing a leek and a little garlic. And when the leek is starting to soften, add in some kale and potatoes. And for grins, we'll kick in a few mushrooms. And for more grins, and for color, some pimento. One more. A grind of cracked black. A grind of sea salt. And they're essentially ready. And when the chicken looks like this, it's done. Now, woo. A little of that. little of this. And sprinkle a few black olives over the top. You can use parsley. I was in the mood for olives tonight. Pick one. Actually, it's perfectly fine with no garnish at all. Now let's cut into this puppy. A little of everything. This is so good. Tender, juicy, and such a combination of flavors. And no, it definitely does not taste anything like a pepperoni pizza. Give it a try. You'll like it. Yum.